Good morning, friends. How we doing? Yep, there'll be a link here. What's going on, Looks Within? What's going on, buddy? See you in the comment section a lot. How you doing? My volume's low. Is it? Let me take a peek here. Might be on the live side of things. We can turn that up a little bit here. There we go. That's about into the red-ish zone now. That might be a little better, but I'll be speaking a little bit loudly here as well. We'll see. Good morning, Ben. What's up, Terry? Letting everybody drive in here as we start right at 12 here pretty much. Looks like our latency is kind of high this time. Unfortunately, last time we had a pretty good latency where it was barely a second lag. We're looking at 3 to 5-ish. No big deal, though. No big deal. Happy Saturday. What's going on? A little better volume? Good, thanks. Let's get the chat down here so I can see it, maybe. Yeah, a little bit of stream lag. That's okay. That's okay. We'll be fine with that. All right, my friends. So to dive into the live today, noon Central Time. You know, you're saying it's low volume too. Yeah, I got all my settings cranked here. Everything is maxed out. Let's check one thing real quick here. Check the old settings here on the wavelength fast. Yeah, we got no clip protection. Inputs maxed out. Is that a little better? Better. Okay. Yeah, it might be cracking a little bit on that red side here, but well, let's hope not. I'll try not to yell. Let me know if it starts getting pretty obnoxious. Been watching the videos on the algo switching. Cool. So we're going to talk numerology today. Hit that thumbs up. I appreciate that. All right. So a lot of my main members know I study lots of numerology, lots of astrology, right? It's kind of like what they call cryptocurrency, astrology for the broskies, right? But I'm a numerologist for many years. Numerology is a big part of repeat numbers and, to my belief, the simulation we live in. So I promised you guys I'd make a video on this guy right here. This is the periods of when to make money. So we talked briefly about this in chat. This is an old school, it's not really a sentiment, it's more of a chronological order, so to speak here. Let me, oh yeah, we crashed. I got to get my notes back up here real fast. There we go. All right, so to start the numerology topic here, periods and when to make money, and I'll explain this chart real quick if you don't know what this is. On the top line here, is when panic usually occurs, okay? Panic, okay? One of the ones that you'll be able to pick out right away is 2019, if you were around for that fun little pandemic, right? And then the other panics like 99, .com bubble, obviously, right? The middle line here is years of good time and smooth flow. Not a great time to buy, not a great time to sell, maybe sell, but not too bad. And C on the chart is hard times, low prices, and a good time to purchase stocks. Now, to understand this chart, all these black numbers that are put on here from a numerologist standpoint, first I have to say, what is a universal year? What's a number? All these black numbers you see on the side of the years posted on the periods chart is what that total is. So 1927 equals 1. Why does that happen? Well, 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 7, 17, plus 2, 19. 19. And 1 plus 9 equals 10, right? 1. That's how you get a universal year. It's that easy, right? 1999 example, 9, 9, 18, 9, 27, right? That's 27. And then 28 with the 1, 11. 1 universal, 28, 1. Same thing with all the other ones, okay? 2053, 8, 9, 10, right? 5 plus 3 plus 2, 10. That's a universal. Just add up the year. Right now we're in 2025, which makes it a universal 9 year, right? So, thanks, Ben. I appreciate that. We are cancer-free as of now. Big stage 3 battle for quite some years. So thanks for tuning in for all that. So that's how you get a universal number. You literally just add it up. We're in 2025. 2 plus 2 plus 5, excuse me, 9. 2025, right? 2026, or I'm sorry, we'll stick to the easy ones here. So whatever is on the numerology year universal is just it added up, okay? Now, we got some notes here we have to go over real fast on what each one of these numbers mean, okay? And what these numbers mean is, 1, we're going to study the number of new beginnings and huge change, okay? Innovation change. Now, remember that. The number 9 is the number of endings, right? Avoid chasing market highs. Many bull runs end or slow down. Be cautious with risky investments. Corrections are common. Good times to take profits. Sell into strength and prepare for new cycles. Look for undervalued opportunities. Market resets can bring buying opportunities for the next cycle. Okay, so that's the 1 and the 9. In between that, we have my favorite is the universal 8. Just like the infinity symbol, whatever goes around comes around, which is also the flow of money and power, right? It's like the infinity symbol sideways. What is the universal 8 year? Big business and corporate growth. Companies thrive, profits surge, stock market momentum. Bull markets often accelerate. Strong economic cycles, expansions of job growth, commodity booms. You've heard it, right? So this is the 3-piece basics of a numerology universal year. These are very basic. I can't get into a lot of the stuff that I know. So we're going to stick with the basics. Now, we're going to study periods of when to make money. And I just want to give a couple examples in the years, right, on this. This was developed late 1800s, 1875, right? But I'm twisting this and I'm putting a numerology twist on the long-term sentiment of the markets, as we've talked a lot about seasonality, and we can match that with sentiment. We can also talk about cycles. Cycles often repeat themselves all the time, even in civilization, right? We're going through a really big civilization cycle change right now in America. Founded 1776, America, year of the monkey, right? We're 249 years old, 250. Civilizations generally grow after 250 years. You can talk to the Romans, the Athens, any of the old civilizations that ended 250 years. America's at the 250-year point, right? Pretty interesting. And we're at a universal 9 and coming into universal 10, 6, right? 7, 8, 9, 10. 2026 is next year. That's a 1. 2026, right? 2026 is right here on the chart as a 1 as well. So let's talk about this. So just to reiterate here on the periods of when to make money, and what we're really looking at here is, again, top one is panic. Absolutely the worst time to buy, right? Well, but Brandon, you said that the universal 1 year, but the stock market and everybody says that new bull markets are the start of a long-term growth cycle, you said, and innovations in industry and disruptions and new technologies emerge, economic expansion. Investors become optimistic past market resets. This is a great time to buy. Not if you know numerology in the stock market. I don't care what they say, what ChatGPT-4 says. 1 is the worst time. 1 is the number of new beginnings and innovation, right? And what happens between when a start point like technology comes and an end point for that technology comes, right? What do we, I'm looking at some feedback right there. What do we look for the start, right? So let's talk about a couple of the universal years just for fun, right? Up here, okay? In 1965, right, what did we see? It's around here somewhere. Moore's law set the pace of computing advancements. Space tech, first man on the moon, fake. Global communications improved. Color TVs, cassettes, electronics. That was changing the world right there in 1965. But this chart says it's in still of panic. Well, of course, you sell the news. We're stock traders, right? We're futures traders. We're spy followers. So you need to understand that just because innovation releases, that doesn't matter. The release of information is what? It's just to sell the news event, right? Keep that in mind. Deep, deep thought process here, okay? When something runs up on the period here, right? And we got from 1958, which is a universal 5-year, as you see, all the way up to 1965. What do you think was happening in 1958? The buzz, the newspapers were gleaming, we're going to color TV, we're going to the moon, hype, 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 hype. And then it finally happened. And what'd they do? Bought the rumor, sold the release of the news to the people, right? Right? Okay, keep that in mind. Now, remember what we learned about the universal 8 number, right? So 8 is the number of money and power, big money, okay? Reading in periods of when to make money, these happen at the end of the year. What I mean by that is when we come into one of these years, let's just go on the bottom here, 1924, okay? The end of 1924, because 1 plus 9 plus 2 plus 4, right, is a universal 7-year, okay? But at the end of 1924, 1925 comes in and is what? A universal 8-year. Money, okay? Big time money. Oh, what happened after 7 and 1925 kicked in? Oh, for 2 years, it went ballistic up to a 1 year, 1927. What comes after 7? 8. What comes after 7? 8. What comes after 7? 8. Look at these patterns. 7, 5, 7, 7, 5, 7, 7, 5, 7, 7, 5, 9, 9, 1, 9, 9, 1, 9. We live in a simulation. The market can be predicted in long term, and I'm going to show you how I do it on options and spread cells today from these patterns, okay? So a couple key takeaway points again on the periods when to make money. We're just going to dial in real quick so you guys understand. 1s and 9s are generally the same thing. New beginnings and endings, just like we covered. 1, new beginnings, new everything, blah, 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 new tech. What happened in some of the other examples that we have here in new tech? What happened in the big old face plant of 2000? Everybody knows 1999, right? 2000 was the internet, the Wi-Fi became faster. We had Wi-Fi, smartphones had GPS and cameras, right? I had to live through this. I'm an 80s baby. This was nuts. I'm 40 years old. Gaming entertainment. PS2 hit, lost my mind. Craziest graphics ever, Final Fantasy VII. Would you, assume that these change of trends would, imply a market dump? Well, of course, because since 1996, they were already talking about all of those things that came to fruition in 1999. 1 is the number of new beginnings and the best time that new stuff releases and the worst time to buy because you're buying at what? The peak of the cycle, the peak of the psychology cycle, okay? What was the other big ones here? 2019. Well, we know what happened in 2019. Not going to say it on live, but you know my opinion on it. But what else happened? 5G, right? Foldable smartphones, new tech, AI-powered tech became mainstream. Wink, wink. That has been the hype catalyst, fear of greed for how many years now that we've been talking about it since 21, right? And streaming, cloud services, space exploration, obviously new breakthroughs and whatever they release. What happened? The pandemic crashed all the way down to 2023. That was the market bottom, was it not? Maybe we should go look real quick. What was the market bottom on 2023, right? Because we called 2023 being the bottom of our cycle right here, right? Besides the quantitative easing scam we've seen from the pandemic wash right here, we came down into 2023. That was the bottom. Periods of when to make money. 2023 was a universal 7-year. End of the year, 2 plus 2 plus 3 is a 7, right? 2023, just happened a couple years ago. But what came after that? A universal 8-year, 2024. 4 plus 2 plus 2 is 8. So from 2003 up to, that looks familiar. We might be coming close to 2026. We might be in the 8, 9, 10. See the 3 right here? Look right here, 23 goes up 3 years to 26. And what is 26? 6 plus 2 plus 2? 10, right? Which is the worst time to buy, right? Are we following along? Okay, so we called the market bottom in 2023 right here. This one came early though, which is interesting. So let's go over some examples that are insane and some fun little tidbits of history, okay? So I'm going to go through these pretty fast, and you can freeze the screen or Take a screenshot if you really want to see these dialed in. But all I'm going to do is go over a couple examples real fast of the periods when to make money in the numerology year, so we have a better understanding of what my prediction is coming from in 2025, 6, 7, and so on. Okay. Periods of when to make money. We'll start real easy. I just grabbed a random date. 1942, 1945. What is 42 on the bottom? A universal 7 year. What comes after 1942? 1943, which becomes a universal 8 year. 8 is all about the money, right? We're on the bottom tier here. Years of hard times, low prices, and good times to buy. 1942 offered up what? A super cycle, right? Because we're at the lowest point, 1942, and it's saying all the way up it's a super cycle because it's going from the bottom straight up to the top. You see that dark triangle right here, the big one? That's taking 1942, running it to 1945, universal 1, right? All the way back up. So let's take a peek at that on the chart. Here's the super cycle he called 1875. Remember, this was made 1875, not 1940, not 1942. Here we go. Here's 1942. Here's the super cycle bottom where everything is fearful. Remember, it's on the bottom right here. 1942. Super cycle push. 1945, according to periods of when to make money. Boom, boom. Look at the chart. 1942, 1945 super cycle, right? 45's at end, goes into 46 right here. Well, let's take our little numerology sheet here. What do we go back to? Okay, well, from 1945 all the way down to 1951, right? Again, a bottom, a top was 1945. But what does that say? Well, we're in between the two top tiers. And what that means is it's going to be more of a chill cycle. It's saying times are good and there's no need for cycle displacement, right? There's no need for a super cycle to go top to bottom or a different super cycle to go top to bottom. We are going from 1945 to 1951 cycle down. Okay, we just had a super cycle from 1942 to 5, coming into 1945 to 51. That is the cycle down. It tells you right here that 1945 will be the top of the market until 1951, right? So let's take that peek at that. 1945 is the peak of the market until 1951, right here, and then 51 and up. Let's see, right? Let's stop real quick at 1945 to 51 and take a look at this cycle down. It didn't mean that the market crashed and buy puts and go. It did crash pretty good. Don't get me wrong, but where did it stop and end in that whole cycle? Look where the cycle top was called, and look where the next bull cycle was called. Interesting, huh? Okay, so what do we do with this information? Well, as an option seller, this is where I make most of my wealth from. I sell against stocks that I hold, plus I do lots of credit spreads, right? And credit spreads are just, if you're familiar with, you sell a put credit spread, and all that is picking a price that the price action candles will not go underneath, right? So if I sell puts, a put credit spread right here at $14, I expect the market to hold above $14, and I give it a time frame from A to B for that to work out. And if I am correct, let's say I sell these in May of 1946 until May of 50, doesn't matter how many years you put on the credit spreads, right? And I say the price action will never go under $14. And I was right all these years. Well, they're going to pay me at the end of that credit spread because the price action never closed under that during my spread, and the credit decay would go. Same with the call side. If you sell a call credit spread, not a debit spread, you will pick a top. You will pick resistance. You will pick a price level that you do not see action above. So if I sold calls at the end of 1945, the super cycle, when the periods of when to make money told me that the cycle was over and 1945 was it, I would sell calls in 1945 a year out, a leap, right? Pretty interesting. So I would call that $20 is my number, and the market for the next 2 years is not going over $20, and they're going to pay me $5,000 if I'm right, because that's how much I put into my credit spread. Well, I didn't have to do anything except for watch the S&P 500 every once in a while and make sure it wasn't over $20, because I would be effed if it was. So I collected all that credit premium, right? All right, back to the periods of when to make money. Interesting stuff starts to cycle on when he is, again, correct. We're going to mark this with numerology, and this is the basics. My premium is going to get a lot more of this on the live stream. So we have periods of when to make money for the next cycle, right? So from the cycle start and end is the same here, right? where 1953, 9, cycle ends, mega bottom. Well, let's go take a peek real quick here, make sure. 1953, okay. Well, here's 1951. What's it say? Okay, a peak of 1953, and then we don't go long again till 1958, super long. Okay, well, where's 1958 for the super long? So we have a decent time, right? Cycles up near, and then don't go long until 1950, what did it say? 8, right? 1958. What happened in 1958 for the long? Universal 7-year, which is, that means 1959 is a 8-year right here, right? Because 1958 is a 7, right? 1959 right here is a 8. What happened to the 8? Up, 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 just like it said. All the way to 58 to 65. That was the next reasoning. So again, what would I do here? If periods of when to make money is telling me that 1958 is the absolute bottom until 1965, right? Oh, I'm going to sell puts, right? 1958 is the bottom, my friends, right here. Okay, well, what happened at 1958 right here? 1958 started right here. Okay, 57, boom, 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 boom. 1958, right there. That's where it said the bottom of the market would be in 1958. Womp, womp, womp. Okay, so if I sold puts right here, yeah, I'm getting paid, right? So now that you understand a little bit of numerology, let's look at, and I just marked off some examples here so you guys can see what we're talking about here. Cycles up, cycles down, and all I'm doing is following. So I'm not going to sit here and blast you with the same old thing over and over and over again. Let's talk about something that didn't work, right? Now, this is where it gets interesting, where our markets and what I usually repeat on stream all the time while live trading, hype, fear, greed, and psychology trumps any technical analysis. I can trade algorithms with the best of them. I can trade sequences, trend, flow, you name it, with the best of them. I cannot plan for a Trump tweet. I cannot plan for a crazy war invasion news. I cannot plan for anything out of the ordinary that happens that second, right? So no matter what, hype, fear, greed, and intervention upon outside source will trump technical analysis and math, right? Because they are interrupting the flow of math with what, right? So I have a couple key points of interest here that I want to talk about real fast, and this is the no downside, right? The 1981 top. So it said 1981 was the top, okay? And if 1981 is the top, right here, a super cycle top, mind you, right? Because the very top and is supposed to go down here, right, to 1985. So why didn't it go down? Here's 1981. What the chart says, everything's supposed to be that easy, Brandon. It's supposed to just tell me how to get rich every single year for free. Come on, guys. That's not how life works. So from 81 to 85, we're down. Well, that didn't happen at all. We actually went up. We came down for a little bit, sure. Right? A little 3 down, a little push. But at the end of that cycle where it told me that 85 was a buying opportunity, oh shit, it was still right. Okay? So this is why I usually sell call options on this, right? So if it told me that 1981 was the tippy top, this one I would have got pushed out of, like a big bully. I would have had to have been like, oh dang, like I'm not really getting my money's worth here, right? Because usually I go about a year out for leap. So in 1981, it would have came in, and 82 ended right here. So if I would have sold that top, I would have got smacked at the end of the year selling those calls. But what happened? What happened in 1981, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So I had a couple notes right here. Why the stock market boom? Well, we were coming out of a huge inflation crisis. Prices dropped, skyrocketing, boosting confidence. Interest rates dropped. Borrowing got cheaper, obviously. Business expanded, right? The Reagan tax cut, we call this the Reagan effect, if you know a little bit about market histories. Companies kept more money, profits soared, right? Everything was dirt cheap, so PE ratios were absolutely mental because inflation went from like 11% down to like 6 or something like that. It was absolutely bonkers. And then that made PE ratio crazy, right? And then last but not least, my biggest thing was the 401k. When they started stealing pensions from people, they stopped making regular retail people like you and I millionaires and taking away pensions, and they started inciting 401ks, which was what? All pushing money into the stock market, right? So we had a massive economic rebound and businesses thrived and unemployment fell off the face of the earth, right? So despite how accurate you can be, you're still going to miss. There's not a single trend dominant indicator. I don't care what sentiment you have, not a single one that's 100% of the time. You need to be able to manage this stuff, okay? So I wanted to keep that in mind where you guys would understand that happens. Now, after that, we came into this monstrosity of a market, all because of the can kick of the Reagan effect. Okay, I'm blaming it on Reagan. I have nothing bad to say about him, but this is what popped off the America's super everything, right? So here's a couple little history points of interest here. The dot-com bubble, right? Well, back to periods when to make money. So far, we're pretty accurate. We're like 4 for 5 right now. So let's go back to 1999, super cycle top. Remember, innovation, right? And it's a one universal. Numerology, if you don't understand what psychology pairs with there, you're going to be like, oh, one's new innovation. They were saying everything in 1999, right? Wi-Fi, internet, cameras, GT. This is the peak of existence. And then it whomped everybody because the one is the number of new beginnings. Yeah, new beginnings will get your butt kicked in the market. So what happened here at the dot-com bubble? Well, it's obviously a bubble. This caused our first ever super bubble, right? And we've been kicking the can down the road ever since with minor corrections, never recessions, okay? Here's another fun little piece of information I just laughed at, just put it in there. If you understand what the PD rule is, obviously you guys are traders, you understand in the stock market on the USD soil, not futures, you need $25,000 PDT, pattern day trading rule. You're not allowed to trade more than 3 times, yada, yada, yada. That was because of the dot-com bubble. So this was implemented right here, the PDT rule. So haha, funny. And the next cycle, right, that came from here, obviously 2007 was called the top, right? Right here on the medium. We didn't know how big this one was going to be. And again, volatility is now absolutely monstrosity, super big in the market. But you know what? It was 2008, right? This is when I started trading and learning. 2007, because I was wondering what the hell everybody was talking about for right here in the housing market crash, right? So I got curious here in 2008, and that's when I started my studies. Okay. Very loosely, not huge, right? So as we came into the top call of 2008, let's look at it again. 9 universal year, 7 plus 2, downside 2, 2012, 6s and 8s, make the most pay, right? Coming down 2 here, periods of make money said 2007 to 12 would be a chill period to relax, right? Because we're coming from the middle section of 2007 down to the bottom, which is usually a super cycle, 2012. Well, 6s and 8s make the most. So here we go. 2012 hits right here, bottom super cycle, all the way to what? Look at this nonstop super cycle. And it called it all the way to what? The pandemic. Super cycle 2012, all the way to the freaking pandemic 2019. What happened? Again, this is more of a miss, right? And I'll explain why here. He called the 12. 12 was the last super good call, really. 2012, super cycle to 2019. So, and we remember the periods when to make money, we use the end of it. So it's not saying 2019, it's saying 19 into 20. That's like December of 2019, okay? So December of 2019, right here. Boop. Whoops. Right to the pandemic. So again, periods when to make money, roughly accurate. So what would I have done here? Well, what did I do? I sold calls, of course, every year because that's what the periods to make money told me. So, or puts, sorry, not calls. So I sold puts. I bought calls actually on this one, but we sold puts. We said, okay, well, 2012 is the bottom. Let's assume that we're going to sell puts at 1,400, and we're saying the market's not coming under 1,400. So if it stays above there, we get paid on a credit spread, right? Good. Now, here's where the wishy-washy stuff and my 2025 prediction comes in for all this stuff, okay? The wishy-washy stuff is government intervention, scam of quantitative easing, as it says here. Quantitative easing, and the market of 23 bottom came early. Now, was it still correct? Well, yeah, generally. I mean, hit or miss. We're about 8 to 10 call right now. 9 to 10. We haven't missed one yet. Now, let's look at the 23 in quantitative easing after the pandemic. Now, look at here. Cycle top 19. Next time to buy is 23. Okay. Well, if you would have waited till 23 to purchase, because remember, it's saying 2019 is the super cycle bottom and it goes all the way down to 23. And 23 is when you should buy because 2024 is a universal 8. And we're talking about the end of 2023 here, which is a 7, goes into 8 every single time you see 6s and 8s. It's the same thing. I promise we live in a simulation here. And as we come into it, outside intervention, hype, fear, greed, the Pow Man intervened. This is called the easiest bull market in the world. There's a big joke about it. There's memes everywhere. And it says, it's not a bull market. You're just a genius. No, any idiot could have used a 50 SMA and bought on the dip of trend, okay? If you made, we couldn't lose money here. So quantitative easing stepped in, pushed the market right away, and periods when to make money still said 23 was the buy. Okay, well, we missed this whole run. No big deal. That thanks, Powell, all right? Quantitative easing comes down to 23, and that came early because you keep hearing me say end of 23, end of 25, end of 99. Well, let's look at the end of 23, into 2024. It came early because of government intervention, right? So here's the start of 23, and poof, it was gone. This is why when you do options, you get to get some long-term on there. Or if you're just playing stocks, just buy the dips. Always play bullish until we get a real recession, right? So in periods when to make money told us to buy in 2023, usually you look till the end of 23 and 4. Now, if you watched our first couple live streams, I went over presidential election sentiment, okay? I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we've obviously had a whole video explaining my favorite sentiment to trade, which is the presidential sections. 2020 was the election year. Obviously, they're going to run that sucker up quantitative easing. 2022 is halfway. We know that is a bearish year. So 25, Trump takes over. 26 is halfway through the presidency, just like 2020 takeover. 2022 was the top of the presidency. 2026 is the cycle midterm, also known as a bearish year down to 2032. What does that mean? We're going to drop? Well, I don't know. we don't know the chart. We have to speculate, right? No, it could mean a relax like we've seen off the last couple super cycles, right? Remember this cycle down here? These weren't necessarily horrible times like new lows, crazy, washing. They were just relax years. It was sideways. So you sell calls because you collect that premium, right? So all the way back to here, what's the prediction, Brandon? What's going to happen? Well, this is what I'm going to look for. I'll tell you that. My prediction is the 2026 cycle will come to fruition, right? One, right here, hits 26. That means 2025 could continue massively, even after a couple small pullbacks, all the way up to a couple more all-time highs. I don't really see a super cycle in 2025. What's the reason for that? Well, if we take a look at our old Schneikes, if we take a look at our old zodiac chart here, and this is Vietnamese and Chinese zodiac here, no Western zodiacs like Aries, Libra stuff. Year of the snake, more like year of the bear, right? So from Carson, they release this stuff coming out for each year, and they give you statistics. This is how we do in a goat year. This is how we do in a dragon year. This is how we do in a rooster. Oh, for fuck's sake. We're not very hot in the snake year. 2025 is a snake year, okay? And I'm big on numerology and real big on astrology, okay? This astrology, not Libra, Aries, Zodiac, Western. That stuff bonkers to me. Real Chinese zodiac, okay? Now, year of the snake, as we see, we're in right here. The worst mother trucking year for the market. So unless we get hype, fear, greed, government invention like Powell, I don't see us going bonkers high because of one of, this select reason right here. And then, of course, like we had just anticipated, 2026 being a cycle top, universal one. Well, we're coming off right here. It's only 3 years up, just like it says right here. 3 years up, 6 years down. And I'm telling my crew to get ready for that super cycle 2033, baby. 33, wink, wink. It's going to be my year. Huge. So only my chat probably understood that one. All right, so 2025 goes up. Trump comes up. We're running. We get a pullback. Doesn't matter where, how, doesn't matter. We're going to get a pullback. I don't care what causes it. Doesn't matter to me. I play the after trade. I'm not going to predict the move before it happens. We have some good ideas for myself of where it could come back to. So this is the idea, okay? I'm going to wait for 2025 cycle to emerge where something terrible happens. And I don't know if we're going to get Trump to bully the Federal Reserve into a bull market or not. I can't predict that. Can't predict how they're going to react to the Trumpster, okay? But I can look for certain technical analysis markers that will help me, okay? I'm very big on Fibonacci, as you see here. And we have a very interesting zone of multiple days and multiple gaps. I'm very big on gaps and algorithmic trading in these gaps, okay? So if I pair my technical analysis and algorithm knowledge, I'm going to go, man, I have a no GP, no GP, no GP, no GP floater, no GP, no GP. We have a lot to do to backtest this area, okay? So I know that's in that 4,300, 4,600. Well, I'm going to save myself a little time with all those gaps and all the dailies. I'm going to go to the weekly. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, okay, weekly, Tell me something. Well, no GP, no GP, no GP. There's a lot of interesting pullback areas here. I'm going to take one of the higher ones for ease of use and some of the lower ones. So I haven't done this yet. We're going to do this live. And why am I doing this? Well, I'm going to pick the follow-through weeks, right? And I'm going to pick the ones that have no golden pocket. And I'm just going to pick a high-low for the fibs, and I'm going to see where the cycle top could potentially lead us to. All right, maybe max 67.24. I feel like that's a little high. I think I'm going to cut this down to maybe this weekly right here. And I'm going to start forming my plan, which I have not done because I wanted to do it live. Okay. 666. Yeah, we're past that one. I think we're going to go a little higher than that. I don't like any of these yet. I think I'm going to take a little wider range. So what I did here now, and why did I draw it this way? I'm just testing fibs. This is what you should be doing, always testing. I took the top most weekly with no golden pocket tag in the bottom. So let's see what that ends up with. Yeah, still 6,700. Okay. So I have a couple different indicators on the weekly that are telling me that, well, could we get to 6,700? Yeah, it's not out of the question. Will we? I don't know. I don't think the returns are good until manipulation. So if fear, hype, greed, and the Pow Man or Trump bullying him comes into fruition, sure, maybe we get to 67. I don't care. I'm planning for 26, not 25. So my plan here is to wait for these Fibonacci zones of untag. I want to see a correction to 4,400 to 4,500 around here from way up here. And I'm talking correction. Now that is a massive ask, okay? 30, 40%. I don't know if I'm going to get that. That might be 2026's bottom still because we've moved so far away, okay? So what I'm thinking is that we might get some pullbacks here in 25, right? Maybe back to 5,000. We have some other no GP tags back down here where we could rest at. Oh, there we go. Right here. So we do have a couple, weeklies here that give us no GP tags, okay? So I'm just going to move up my fibs and I'm just going to look, because this is the fun part about technical analysis. It's to breed an idea. Okay, well, this last no tag, oh shit, we got a double overlapping already at 6,700. That's the third time we've been into the 6,700s now with Fibbies. It's third overlap on the weekly. So from this high-low weekly range, we have no GP. So correction down to this seems a little bit more likely. Well, let's say, well, Brandon says the end of February could be bearish. Well, let's say it pushes into 6,390 to 6,200, then starts to fail to 423. This is the correction I want. 15%. That sounds a little better. I'm an 8 to 12 kind of guy, okay? 15% sounds doable. So what's the plan? Well, the plan is to leave these for the super cycle top. This is the prediction. The super cycle top isn't till quite some time, actually, 35. So 2035 is the next super cycle top. We're in 26's pullback, coming to 2032. So if we get the pullback I want to see here, all the way back down to the corrective zone in 25, that will be a bullish buy up to 67. Okay, following me here. 2025 correction at some point, bloop, 5,300, back up to 6,700. Okay, that's the prediction I want to see. Anything can happen in the market. Crystal ball usually don't go out that far. Intraday, very good crystal ball. Years past, we'll see. And then when 26 hits, that is the super cycle top. Or I'm sorry, not super cycle, the midway cycle, 2026. And for 6 years, according to periods of when to make money, we may just sit, consolidate, or drop till 2032, and then 2033 is for me. That is the universal 8-year. And I want to see this thing take off. So it's going to look something like a push down, $5,000 hold, up potential 6,700. And then for those years, I want to see just an absolute massacre if we get it. Now, this is asking a lot, okay? This is a lot, all right? So this is very hypothetical. 4,500. Will that come? I don't know, dude. Quantitative easing, something could have came in. We could kick the can down the road, and this whole chart could be blown out because Powell says, no, we're kicking the can down the road and easing. Okay, 7,600 it is, Powell. We're really going to get a recession, something like this if that happens, okay? Then we're going to be in danger. Now, my reasoning here for a lot of this stuff, besides Fibonacci and periods of when to make money, is the cycle of what we covered in the pieces of history, okay? And what I mean by that is these little news pieces, innovation, news, whatever you want to call it, the big deals of the world. Every time we've seen a big cycle top, 2000, 2019, 2065, 81, where the world was changing so fast, so dynamically, so quick with technology that it always crashes. Well, what's been the hype, fear, greed, as we talked about, coming from 2019 to 2020, the big pandemic down here? Watch, it's been the AI bubble, right? AI, right? Right? It only took one word from the old... Did I even write that one down? I might not have. It took one thing to disrupt us from the AI bubble for a minute there. If you would have seen that big old dipski, and if you guys remember what that was the DeepSeek, right? Caused a massive whomp right down on the chart to come back for some gaps, okay? The DeepSeek disrupted our entire Magnificent Seven because AI is the bubble, right? That is the word. That's the fanciest thing. If you are on Bitcoin balance sheet or AI, your market's going like that for you, right? You're up on stock. You're up on the market, okay? So my prediction is if we do see something like a DeepSeek release, something like a big catalyst where AI is no longer a catalyst, right? Remember when the year 2000 came and the dot-com bubble hit and it was like, oh my God. And then everything with the dot-com. One thing to remember, if you haven't done any market history here, if you've never read about the dot-com bubble, anything with the ending .com in it made money. It didn't matter what it was. PE ratios, speculative, forward, PE, junk, all scam. It had nothing to do with anything. Does that sound familiar in the world of cryptocurrency, shitcoins, AIs? Make the comparison for yourself, okay? That's what I'm looking at. So when this dot-com bubble came in, we had like 117 stocks, the S&P 500 back here. From this bubble all the way back up, it went to like 250 something, which is insane market flow. Everybody with the .com had a oh, we're going to be the next Google. Yeah, I'm sure everybody did. And this is what it cost, okay? Well, AI, cryptocurrencies, everybody's going to be the next. We'll see, because we never actually got a new correction. All these little pullbacks, this has just been the next higher low. Eventually, we will get a real correction, right? And if periods when to make money is correct, or we're correct waiting for the AI bubble pop, crypto pop, whatever it is, I'm hoping that it's going to be farther down the road for me, 2035, because I want to get into a super cycle bottom in the 2030s. So I'm going to be buying in 2032 and 33 with all my might and all my cash. I've been sitting on the sidelines since 19. I got scammed here because I missed all this move. I've been sitting on all my cash at 19. I didn't get scammed. My dumbass just didn't buy. I'm just complaining. So the 2032 bottom for me, I'm going to be coming into that buy zone. I'm going to be hoping for that massive run, but I want to see that correction from 26 happen really nicely. So that's the prediction. Up to 25. Long 26, I'm selling calls, boys. 26, 27, 28, 29. Even it looks like this. I'm selling all-time high calls. Whatever 25's all-time high is, I'm selling calls there, and I'm banking all 26. I'm selling call, whatever, I don't know where top's at. It doesn't matter to me. I just need to see the top. And then I see the breakdown, selling calls at the top, making money all 26, 7, 8, 9. And then I'm positioning myself for the super cycle bottom for whatever catalyst they bring for the universal 8 year of 2033, which is an 8. I will be longing the farm, as they call it. I will throw all of my rental properties at it, business money, millions on millions. Anything that I've created, I'm putting a long amount of that. Because I missed the last super cycle and I haven't been in the market long term for quite some time, and I think that is a very good time to potentially be there. I don't think we're getting a recession on from Universal 7.5 because these patterns are here, right? We live in a simulation. I can't get into too much of that here, but time for some questions. So, holy cow. 42 whole minutes of a basic numerology lesson moving into history. And I'm going to do a part 2 on this if you guys want it. Comment if you do. My chat, comment if you want. But I'm going to go a little bit deeper for my group here. And I will do a public part 2, but I'm going to go into some way deeper stuff for my group. So listen up here, boys. I'm releasing the snake year, pig year stock list end of this week coming up. All right. Sorry, I haven't been watching the chat here. I'm half blind as well. My left eye here. So I got to send me hers. We're in the 9. Divine 9, baby. I'm a 9 more. And so I'm a big fan of the 9. A lot of people don't understand the 9. They think it's something it's not. Loud and clear. Good to hear. Glad to see the cancer. Oh, thank you again. Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. But fighting cancer was a kind of a pain in the butt, literally, because I lost my butt. That's a big W. Absolutely. My favorite pattern. The Reagan years. Yes, sir. Funny 6 will be since it's the downward spiral. It's interesting. You'd think of it. So how I think of the 6, right? So look at this. The number 6, to me, looks like a human, right? Here's his head. Here's his arms. He's got a big old belly. Because he eats good. That's when we eat. 6 years, big money. 9 And if this was a human being, he's got a big ass head. He's an egoist and he's annoying and I hate him. So the 9s don't do very well. Hence the years they fail. But the 6s and 8s, we eat, baby. I'm a 33-6. I'm a hybrid. So my life path number is a 33. But if you do my number, I'm a hybrid, Nikola Tesla numbered hybrid. It's really weird. I'm a 33-6, but if you add up my numerology, I'm a 15-6. But if you add up universally, I'm a 33 master teacher. So it's hard to explain, but there's an old saying about the 15-6s. They're just as good as 8s at making money. So I love the 6 money. I know you're not wrong. It's crazy from around me. I feel crazy. Yeah, energy is crazy, man. Turned 33 this year. Funny to find this year. Hey, that's awesome. That's a really good year, man. Enjoy it. Learn as much as you can. Teach a new subject to anybody you can just for fun. Deep seek. Yes, sir, Rob. You mentioned the last half of February is bearish. Can you zoom in the next couple? Yeah, of course. So February, this is just a sentiment trade. Don't take this as a grain of salt. Remember, hype, fear, and greed will run the markets. But February, just for seasonality, which means, holy shit, we didn't even get into the January barometers. That's on the bottom of my list. Well, I'll try to cover that in the next one. I ran out of time here. I'll cover the January barometers the next time. We went too crazy. But the January barometer, if you end January green and you pair the first 5 trading days of the year, the Santa rally, and a green close January, statistically, you are good to go for a rocket ship market into 25. We didn't get that. We lost the Santa rally. We barely got 5 green close, and we had a under 2% close on January, which is not what I like to see. So when I go to the monthly right here, just to touch on it real quick, this is the close right here, right? So it goes December, January. The open and close here, I think it was 1.4. What did we get? We ended up to over 2, or 2.4, I mean, 2.3. So 2.3 is what we closed at. So that does signal a good upside for more higher highs coming in 2025. We just missed the Santa rally, so I don't think it's going to be an explosion of new upside. I think it's going to be maybe a couple, 1 or 2 all-time highs coming. That's it. We will not make more than maybe, I don't even want to say 3, probably 2 all-time highs, in my opinion. I don't think we're going to see anything else. But when it comes down to sentiment, right, the first half of February is usually bullish. Second half usually sits still. Okay. So you see these extreme runs here. We have some of these right here that have no GPs. Look at my last 10 videos. We covered this Fibonacci right here. Once this pushes up to that 6180 to 62 level, I think we're going to be kind of dead. I don't know what we're going to do in February, but right now we're in a really good zone for a pullback to lose 6100 again, to be honest, because this no tag GP, this no tag GP right here on the daily, and this no tag GP. If we draw a Fibonacci high-low from every single one of these, we need to come back down to this one, and this one. I don't know if that's going to be February or not, guys. Don't go. We don't know earnings or PEs. It's really awkward right now in the market with the crap that we see. But February, the first half, generally bullish. So if we look right here, February coming into right here, the first week, second week. My assumption is downside February back to maybe best case scenario for us on the bear side of things to fill a gap before it wants to kind of head back up. If we start to really kill off a sell from there, we'll navigate that. Check my YouTube. I'll do predictions every single day I can. How can we see part 2 for sure? Yeah, I'll throw that up there. Historically, since 1950, it has been. Please part 2. Yep, for sure. How can we YSE? You see this on the 5-minute chart. Which part, my friend? Sorry, if you're looking for, are you looking for Fibonacci's? Because all the videos on my channel, please check them out. I go over intraday 5-minute Fibonacci over and over, and literally in every recap video. It's a small ounce of it there. Part 2, more detail focus. Yep, for sure. I'll go into next focus in the next couple of years. I don't have a huge outlook right now until we start seeing, the Trumpster just got in. We have executive orders to finish. We got Q1 earnings to get out of the way. And once Q1's done, I'll definitely know a ton more. I know a lot more because of what January closed right here. So I know in the next couple of months here, we could easily, fabricate up a little bit, but we will be coming down. And once we get that correction, I'll be very aggressive. But still, for a detailed year in 2026, it's as easy as I'm selling calls all 26. That is the halfway presidential year. We will not hit any all-time highs in 2026. We will hit lows in sequence. We will be doing this in 26. You can mark this chat, mark this word. That is my call. I don't think I'll be wrong on that one. I thought in my head you might be a 33. Yeah, 100%. It is a rarity. I'm a little hybrid. I'm a born on a 9-day, which is weird because I'm a 3369. I'm 369 is what the breakdown unfortunately is. And Nikola Tesla, if you want to understand some things about the universe, that's what makes my weaponized autism so crazy is what I feel. I know the 1.618 is the only true repeating sequence. Yeah, they found in nature. Do you think that because the market goes up, that the actual currency is going to more with the numerical gauge? Well, the 1618 is the only true. Yes, and I understand what the. So what are you saying? If you don't understand Fibonacci sequencing here, let me bring up. I'm still working on my MacBook knowledge here and how to get this bar up to find a Google window. Hey, there we go. So a picture of Fibonacci sequencing here. Oh, the AI knows me. It brings up all charts. Can I get the circle graph? There we go. So Fibonacci in numbers, like the 1618 extension above. It's a good picture of it here. So the 1618 extension, I might actually just draw this. Okay, remember this right here. This is what I'm going to do. You see the circle right here, the ever-unfolding Fibonacci. It gives you sequences of circles and numbers. The 1618 is the repeater, and that is the most used Fibonacci that we use, the 1618. If it breaks out of a Fib zone, we target the 1618 for an over-under every single time. Fibonacci is not an indicator. It is literally structurally life itself, mathematically, in my opinion. Anybody can think what they, God's gift to this world, but Fibonacci is not just an indicator. It is literally defining life in sequence. Take your hand, for example. You got a hand, right? Go like this. What does that look like? That's the Fibonacci circle sequence, right? If you see that on the, well, I hope it's still streaming that way. I am so bad at the internet, guys. I'm sorry. Can you guys see that? Yeah, okay, I'm still going. Cool. That Fibonacci extension 1618 is the powerhouse. I don't know what you mean by actual currency would go up, right? But what it means is, like, when I use the 1618 extension, right, I think that every time we have a 1618 interaction, it is number one. So let's take this into consideration right here. I say first tag, which is completion, right? So we can use that as a gauge. So if we take our Fibonacci sequencing here and I go, all right, look at this no GP tag, where would my first kind of area pullback be looking for? Well, I'm going to draw it from here. We're going to look intraday at the first time the price action has tagged this 1618. So I fibbed out high-low right here, right, 12th February, and I'm going to go look at what the first time we hit 6,100, big old psychological number, this one will be fun, into the 5-minute. Let's look what happened at 1618. The first time we ran into it, it's going to cause a little over-under, as we like to say. What do we got? So breaks out of the 100, tip. So you see the interaction point, wasn't much, but it was an over-under level. So we mark these over-unders very, very cleanly. So the first tag was a little bit of a pullback. Now, we said get out of the way of the market. This thing was, going to be kind of hurtful to everybody's feelings to that upside on Friday. So we had some indicators on why that was. But the first time this tag 1618, we had a good interaction point. Now, that comes, for first scalp, we use that all the time. So if I go to the 5-minute chart and use this intraday, like you see me all the time, I'm going to utilize no golden pocket tag candles, right? There's no secret to this. This is real basic stuff. This isn't any hidden knowledge here. So if I go to these candles, like we just discussed on the SPYs weekly, or even down here, look at the interaction points at this candle start. Why are we using this one? Because it's the first candle of the day at the open. 5-minute high-low. Look what happened at the Fibonacci extensions. We had an over-under, blew through, went right to the 2618, right back to the 100, right through the 1618, right to the 1618. So these extension points, and I'll give away, it's not really a freebie, but use the 3618 as well if you can. And this is, I have this on other ones, but this is also an extension that you really want to see on there, which I've started using a little bit more of just in back testing, not in live. So anybody that's confused in my chat's like, you don't use that, you mother trucker. You're right, not on the screen. So I've been back testing this one a little bit more with our fib goals. So you can see that 3618 hits often, obviously, before the 423.6. So I'm utilizing a lot more 3618 right now. So yes, we can utilize that as markets go up, but the first 1618 tag, intraday trading, daily trading, market's always going to do what the market wants, but to guide you, Fibonacci is clean. going to sign up and start asking. The point is to ask questions. There's no such thing as too many questions at all. You could ask all fucking day. That this prompts me to go off on tangents about teaching, and it might unfold something that somebody might not have heard. Because some of my core members, like 80 members, 50 some of these Boiler Room Trading members have been around for like 6-7 years. These guys have been showing up in my chat in the paid service for years and years and years, and these guys just take hold of their life, and they learn, and they ask questions, they learn. So there are a lot more talented people in chat than just me. You have 10, 15, 20 people that are speaking in chat all the time that understand all of my processes. So even if I don't see the question right away, you're going to see a ton of talented admins that have been studying this stuff, same as me, for years. So please ask as many, because no such thing as a dumb question, always a dumb answer. Because if you're an asshole and you just make fun of people who are asking simple questions, it's such a terrible way to live. It's so rude. Well, like when the down cycles were talking about earlier, but the market still rose. Oh, so are you talking about Fibonacci cycles for like when they didn't work out? Like back when the periods of when to make money kind of failed down here? Not really failed, but you know what I mean? So like here, I'll give an example. I mean, Fibonacci, it's just going to be high-low Fibonacci's, right? So same exact 5 different examples here. I'm going to go in. I'm going to say, all right, well, look at all these no GPs. I'm going to take a full range of this. All of these are no GP, actually. And if I back this up, and right there. So first interaction point, reaction to the 1618. First reaction point, reaction to the 2618. First reaction point, reaction to the 3618. And then off on its own merry way. And then what did it do? It retraced a tad bit, but it started a whole new market cycle up here, right? Coming into 1985. One takeaway I can tell you from this is 1985 is the year of the ox. The S&P 500 was made in the year of the ox. So if this wanted to take off from an energy standpoint of things, that cycle is something that I have in my journal, in my notes that I've written about before, where that could have been a reason why the periods of when to make money cycles didn't play out accordingly, because there was no downside correction because of outside opposing energies like the year of the ox, which the S&P 500, the SPX, was developed in the year of the ox. So I don't know if I answered that question correctly. Please be as dumbed down question as you can. I like the way Elon Musk runs his meetings. Try to sound as dumb as possible is what he says. So I like basic. Excellent to hear your beliefs. Thanks, man. Just try to be kind here. The indecisive candle makes me, yeah, always, definitely. It's all about first tags, though. We're gold bonded than silver nonetheless. Yeah, 100%. Yep. Yeah. Imagine the Trumps are bringing back the gold standard, abolishing income tax, going on the gold standard. How crazy would that be? I mean, obviously never going to happen, but we need a market recession crash. I would love Donald Trump to cause one of the biggest just melts ever. Please. Please do. Okay, that's good. Awesome, man. Sweet. So that was a lot of questions I had in my chat. So many people have been asking about numerology, cycles, predictions. We're going to dive more into it. I'm going to get more into, we don't have any more time, but I'm going to go into some more stuff on the part 2 of this stuff. And I want to go back into market analytics, seasonality. I like to talk about a lot in the presidential elections. We'll go month to month seasonality for the next one. If you haven't watched my other live streams, I do break down a lot of the presidential seasonality, monthly seasonality. I know they're long, I know they're grueling, but if you're serious about this stuff, I promise there's a few key takeaway there. If you don't know sentiment or seasonality, there's some good golden nuggets in there. It's a good little afternoon checkout. So I appreciate it, man. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I don't see any more new questions popping up. So if anybody would like to sign up, learn more, the link is in the description. Come join our community. We do this stuff every day. I stream live every day. I blow up the Discord as much as I can. I'm up at like 3, 4 in the morning on the treadmill for an hour, blowing up Discord usually, looking for the plays, intradays, the algos, the day trade scalps, which are my favorite. Banking in that money every day. We've done some really good stuff. I always post my transparency too. There's no demo account shit here. I post the actual bank statements on X and Twitter, through Top Step, through Apex, through my regular accounts way back in the day. So no worries if you actually think nobody's being truthful, because I understand that speculation, because I was the same. I was in multiple rooms, man. The warrior trading rooms, way back in the day, years and years ago, I jumped room to room to figure it out, and man, I got my butt kicked a lot. over the years trying to follow other people. So if you are looking for an alert service for me to spoon feed you trades, please do not sign up. But if you did and you're looking for that, please let me know. I'll refund you, because this is not an alert service. This is actually teaching you how to fish. I have done this for a decade plus, profitability for what year is it? 25, over 9 years now. I've never had a red year on top of that. So some of my main chat knows on how we call trades and how we post our P&Ls. I don't think I haven't had a red day in 134 days, despite between all three accounts. Not a red day, okay? And they see me do it live. They see my predictions live. It's honestly just really fun, man. I just show up to have some fun. The numerology will always follow. 33 down to 29, 11 and 33. Those are my favorites, man. I seen 33 there for a little bit. It's cool. You know what's really funny is my notes, too. I don't even know where they went because I don't know how to use the internet or anything. But, oh, right here. There we go. It's funny. I just noticed this as I was talking. How many notes I have on my cloud chain? 33. during that was the last note I made for the teaching session. So interesting, man. Numerology is fascinating. But all right, my good friends, I have not seen any more questions. Thanks for tuning in live. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next. I'll be doing recaps like always, Monday through Friday. We do one a day. Any questions or you want to know something, please reach out in the comments. Comment. I will literally make a whole video on it for fun. I have nothing else to do. I don't work. I'm mostly retired, so I don't do anything besides manage my other businesses, and I don't do anything. So I have plenty of time now to make YouTube videos on whatever stupid topics you want, and I don't charge anything weird like that. Just comment. I'll make a video on it. I got nothing else better to do but help people. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care. 47 follows me. Daughter's an 11, son's 3. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. My son's at 11. You're going to have fun. He's going to be a goofy, fun dude, man. Your son's going to be fun, too. Daughter will be bright. Awesome. Take care, my friends. Thanks again for tuning in. And as always, trade safe. Stay curious in the markets.